IPMNation.com.
Hi, it's Stephen Farquhar from TryH2. If you're interested in learning about Brian's Perfect 10, the all-natural products he is using to keep awake and alert in his 24-hour marathon, then please visit us at tryh2.com. That's TRYH2.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All-Natural Being. Warning, All-Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Welcome, and thank you. We're back to hour 7. So what does that make it? Like the 306, 300, something like that, episode of All Natural Being. We are into kicking off hour 7 of our 24-hour marathon. And remember, our what is our goal today? I'll probably regret this later, but our goal today, customer satisfaction is, could you ask what's our goal? Customer satisfaction is our number one goal. I wanted to go ahead and do our 24-hour get-together here, and I wanted to do it in such a way. Hold on, let me see who this is real quick, and then we'll come back. Where are we? There we go. Good afternoon. Welcome to All Natural Being. Who's this?
It's Misty. How are you?
Hey, Misty, how are you? Good. Hold on just 1 second. You're on air with me. But I wanted everyone to know that, well, right, what does the sign say? Customer satisfaction is our number one goal. What I wanted to do, Misty, was make sure that if people are tuning in, if people are listening, if people are giving me some of their time to come to this 24-hour marathon, that they're really learning some information that will serve them, some things that can help them in terms of protecting their all-natural being, whether it's their philosophical or their physiological immune systems, right? So we're under attack. We got to watch what we eat, what we drink, what we think, right? All those different things, what we breathe in. So I wanted to make this 24-hour run to see if I could make the record, the ramp up to the record, the 81 to win later this year. I wanted to make it something so that the listeners would go, you know what? I did learn something. That was really informative. So we're bringing on experts, Misty, such as yourself, that can talk about just those things. What can they do to bolster physiologically and philosophically their all-natural being? So I thank you so very much for joining us today. And I wanted to start with a little bit of introduction in that soon after I was diagnosed, right? They found it, right? It was like a scavenger hunt. They found, oh, hey, you got a golf ball sized brain tumor. Soon after, my friend Misty was like, look, we got to get you started on this, kind of like Mike Warren and Dr. Warren from BioPro Plus. And I wanted to make mention of the fact that Misty was like, no, here's what we're going to do. Here's what you got to get on. Here's some of the supplements. So, Misty, thank you not only for calling in today and being a part of our 24-hour marathon show, but thank you for showing an interest in my health and everything that you did to help me battle back from 3 traumatic brain injuries. So please say hello to everyone, and I'm going to go ahead and load your graphic while you're talking so that everyone knows how they can come and get some more information about you. How are you, Misty?
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Please, you never have to thank me, honestly, because the world is not done with Brian Brawdy. So say that you needed some help was a little bit of an understatement, but that's okay. That's what you have lots of connections and lots of good friends and things for. So I always believe in synchronicity, and you always meet who you're supposed to meet when you're supposed to meet them. So that was not by accident.
I believe that as well, my friend. So thank you very much. So we're going to go ahead and give out a toll-free number, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. So, Misty, I've got the holistic lifestyle coach. I've got your logo up online. Give me the scoop. What's going on, and what is it? What kind of expertise can you impart to us today?
Yeah, so I get to do lots of really fun things.
Okay.
My journey has been very evolutionary. It's undergone a lot of transformation, especially this last year. So what I'm kind of working on now, things are kind of taking a little bit of a turn. I know I told you a little bit, that logo, that all that's kind of getting revamped, and it's going under my business name of Love Your Life with Misty. Because not only am I teaching people about how to use plant medicine, plant extracts, different things to be, in their own home, but I'm also teaching them how to kind of be their own healer in their whole life, like how to really rein in and listen to your own intuition, creating your life, choosing the things that align with this bigger life that you want, and just really realizing that you're the chooser of all that.
Okay.
And it's really been amazing. So I do vision board workshops. I teach people how to use plants in their house, like not only for physical and emotional things, but for contributory, like things that would have a negative impact on their whole being, regardless whether they're sick or not.
Sure.
So, I know you just got done talking about cleaning products and different things that you put on your body. And I think we don't really take a whole lot of notice as to how much those things actually affect how your body works and how it has to send energy and attention to filtering out all this toxic crap that we're willingly putting into our bodies.
I'm with you. Right? I'm with you because ever since the doctor said to me, and Dr. Warren, who was just on, he says, you need, in order to survive this day and age, Misty, he said you need optimal immune health. So you look at what we drink, what we eat, what we think, what we breathe. And there's a news story every day that says it's just toxicity. Our environment is nothing more than toxic to us. Like you say, the things that we clean with, the things we brush up against, all these different things. So I'm beginning to wonder just how powerful could our immune system be if we just helped it, right? And you said both, as you say, in terms of the philosophy, the things we think, the things we eat, right? Just that chronic stress, that chronic inflammation that comes from the whole myriad of things. Our bodies are up against a huge battle when it comes to our environment in this day and age. And that's why I think the work you do is so strong and so important, because it captures what we ingest both through our minds, through our gut, and through our gray matter. And I'll put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things, especially you don't take notice of it until you actually get sick or you have a chronic illness or something flares in your body that makes you kind of take a step back and go, okay, how are all these things affecting me? When all along, you could be doing all these things to support an already healthy body. Because there's a lot of things we don't have control over. We don't necessarily have control over the air we breathe, but we have control over, not using scented plugins in our house where we're breathing in toxic chemicals. We have control over, not cleaning our house with bleach and where we're stepping on it and it's getting inside our bloodstream and inside our lungs. There's so many little things and they seem so insignificant. But I could tell you they make such a big difference, not only just in your immune system, but how you think in different things, in different products like your toothpaste. Commercial toothpaste has neurotoxins in it. So different things that you don't think about. You can be doing everything right. You can be eating the right foods. You can be exercising. You can making your lifestyle changes. But if you're still taking in all these toxins from places that you don't even realize you're taking them in from, it's kind of almost like it's a double-edged sword, And
then, Mr., I will tell you that just you're kind of bookended by these two folks. We had Stephen from ProPure USA on earlier, and he was talking about all the contaminants in the water, all the pesticides in the water, all the things we think, oh, our tap water, right? Oh, that's okay. I'll go buy bottled water. Well, most times bottled water is no better. And then coming up a little later this evening, right after you, it's going to be my good friend Paul from Pollen Tech, who is just a mad scientist. He's a genius when it comes to filtering out. You and I talk about the swimmers in the water. He is able to filter out everything in the air we breathe through his full line of Pollen Tech. He calls them fan buddies, but on all the fans here in the studios that are where the air is purified, the air is clean, because you're right. We're getting it from all sides. We're under attack from everywhere. And what would our health be like, as Dr. Warren said earlier, from Alternative Health Concepts? What would life be like if our immune system was optimal? We wouldn't be getting common colds and flus and all these other things. Right? If our immune system wasn't chop blocked at every turn, we'd be pretty impressed with what it's able to withstand. And I most certainly think that when it comes to all the good work you're doing, is that you're just trying to physically and philosophically bolster your mental immune system as well as your biological immune system.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because realistically, a lot of the things that happen physically are actually happening emotionally first.
Okay.
It's the thoughts you're thinking, the emotions that you have. I don't know if you're familiar with Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, but she goes into all these different chronic illnesses, these diseases, and the emotional root to them. And she actually gives affirmations to kind of help reprogram your brain a little bit, thinking better thoughts. And I'm actually diving into conversations with God. I'm actually about halfway through, and that's kind of resonating a lot with that as well. It's all about how you're thinking. You're the creator of your life. Your circumstances might be what they are, but what you do with them is totally up to you. So again, it goes for everything. It goes for how you're thinking about, money or health or your house or your kids or whatever it is. And it's just such a bigger thing when you realize how potent you are actually as a human to be able to really create what's going on in your world. And it takes a totally different toll. And I've just realized that, from people that have followed me and people that have worked with me and people that teach about, plants with me and different things, they always come to me and say, I just love seeing you live. Like, I love seeing you out there doing your adventures and, just finding joy in every day. And I think about it, I'm like, because I create that for myself.
Sure.
So what would the world look like if the people that were surrounding me were actually creating their life to be the best versions of themselves and doing things that bring them joy and inner bliss, just because that's what they feel inside. And then they're radiating that out to people around them. It's like this big ripple effect.
Well, it's like a philosophical hand sanitizer, right? Yeah. You don't have to worry about any of these other people around because you're surrounding yourself with people with that same kind of energy. We were talking last week here, I think it was with Rita. We were talking in the thread about, sometimes you walk into a room and you walk in and you see someone that just makes the room light up, or you walk into a room and someone just sucks all the air right out of it, right? So it's a function of that energy. And I think your immune system works the same way, whether it's your philosophical, as I say, or your biological immune system. If it's up against an uphill battle with the water that we drink and the air that we breathe, the thoughts that we think. I said earlier, Henry Noel was on from Transitional Radio, and I just said, hey, he's like my philosophical filter, right? Where I'm able to listen to the different things that he says and the different things that he writes about and making sure that I guard my gray matter, right? If I'm going to guard my gut from what I eat, what I drink, what I bump up against, but then I don't worry about guarding my gray matter, doesn't seem to make sense. And I would put you on that list with someone that works to both guard the gut and the gray matter, the mind, body, not to inculcate a duality, but that works to protect or works to help nurture the best of the whole human being. So just so you know, that's what I think about you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That makes me smile.
All right. And a beautiful smile you have. All right. So tell me, what are some of the other things? Now, you know that I take religiously my Microplex. I just want to make sure that my Alpha CRS and my Exio Mega. I take my vitamins that I take every day. And I've also tell you that I've started to like this Deep Blue, the polyphenol complex, because I want to do that thing, right? I want to make sure that I'm giving my body everything it needs. So I have my BioPro Plus in the morning. I have my water that's been over 200 contaminants pulled out of that water from ProPure USA. So I've got that, and I've got started. Once I get that in, then I go to the vitamins and some of the other things. So can you talk to me a little bit about just nutritional food complexes and how important that is to help bolstering an all-natural immune system?
Yeah, for sure. So, everything in your body comes back to the food that you're eating. Everything that you talk about, supplements, oils, all these different things, they're all tools to help support your body to heal itself.
Okay.
That's really what you're doing, is you're just helping partner with your body to help it heal itself. And you're, chiropractic, Reiki, energy healing, it's all tools. It's all meant to help your body. It's meant to facilitate the healing process for your body. And your body is so amazing. It's so smart. That's what it really wants to do. It wants to heal itself. Mm-hmm. And like we were talking, we as humans put all this extra gunk, these extra layers. It's like adding on a layer of clothing every time that we try to, we turn a corner. And so ideally, everybody's eating clean and organic and green, and they're getting all of their nutrients from different things, but realistically, not many people can actually do that with the food supply as it is, just because the soil has been depleted of nutrients over time, and the quantity of food that you would have to eat to get a lot of those nutrients is a lot of times way more than anybody's willing to do. And while I would love to see a planet full of people breaking out their blenders every day and chucking tons of leafy greens and fruits and really great veggies, it's just a lot of times people aren't doing that. And realistically, that's if you're doing everything perfectly. And I know, for me, I don't ever do anything perfectly.
Right. Same here.
I fall off the wagon all the time.
Misty, and Dana says, just so you know, Dana says in the thread, as Ralph Smart has said, peace starts on the plate.
Yes.
That's an interesting look. I never thought of that. And I heard something else about fortification begins with your fork, something along those lines, where it's really what we ingest, whether we drink it, whether we breathe it, whether we eat it, whether we think it, it's what we're ingesting that causes our ability to withstand life. It compromises that ability. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you can't out oil or out supplement a bad diet. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So they're meant to be, let's look at the word, they're meant to be supplements, right?
Right.
They're meant to supplement an already great diet. They're already meant to supplement what you're eating and, paying attention to how your body feels after you eat a meal. And that's, a lot of people overlook that they're feeling crappy after they eat. Like they're feeling lethargic and heavy and tired. Well, that's your body actually talking to you. Your body's saying, I don't like something that you ate. So now it's our job to go back to our food and go, okay, what did I just eat? Like, that's where that annoying food journal comes in. I don't like I don't like doing them any more than anybody else, but they're helpful. But they're helpful to look and see where the patterns lie. Like for me, I know when I eat rice, the next day I have a sinus headache. I always wake up with a sinus headache when I have rice, which kills me because I love rice. So, there's all these things that I'm sensitive to. But anyway, I digress.
Do you know what mine is? Mine's
gluten.
Back to your original question. I can tell you, if I have something with gluten in it, I'm going to pay.
Yeah.
I've found
it's worth paying. Let's
Agreed.
Just tell it like it is.
Yeah, and Ashley will say to me, she go, why did you do that? Why did you do that? You knew it was going to hurt. And I go, yeah, but they're enchiladas. Right? So or why did you eat a slice of pizza? Because one of the things that was left behind from I guess the aftermath of the brain surgery is I'm now somewhat susceptible to lactose intolerance. I don't handle, so I had to give up rice pudding. I had to give up yogurt. I had to give up all these other things that I just love. Now, in fairness, as you know, when they removed the brain tumor, they cut all of the nerve endings that went to my tongue. So I can't taste a damn thing. I say to friends all the time, if you're going to invite me over to the house, you might as well just serve styrofoam packaging peanuts. because I can't taste anything, right? So you would still think that I would say no to authentic rice pudding, right? Like, do you know what drives me absolutely crazy? A bowl of vanilla ice cream. I'm hurting.
Really?
I'm hurting for 8 hours. So, like you, I've learned certain things that my body just goes, don't even bring it into the paint. Don't even try to do that. So, to be honest with you, it stinks, right? Because I love this stuff, but I'm doing my best every day to give it up because it crushes me in the hours afterwards. So I have a visceral, personal understanding of what you're saying.
I hear you. I'm Italian, and I can't eat all of my authentic. I can't do pasta. I can't do cheese. I'm like, why don't you just take my left arm? Like,
exactly.
Give me my food. Right?
Give me my food back, right?
You know, and you said something interesting. You said, I have to give up this. I have to give up that. But that's one of the things that I teach people is it's not black or white. It's not this or that. It's your world is literally in Technicolor when you choose it to be. So it's not about, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have rice pudding anymore.
Right.
It's just recreating that rice pudding, including things that you can have that aren't going to hurt you. So it just takes a little bit more effort and a little bit more creative thinking. But that's one of the things that I'm really amazing at is kind of going around that black or white, around that this or that or the other, and just being like, okay, let's create it unique to you. Like, what can you have? What can we do here? But going back to your question about the supplements, that's really why a lot of people are reliant on supplements is because they're not getting the food that they should be eating, or they're not eating the quantities, or it's for whatever reason that they're not absorbing it. You know, they might have some gut issues, different things. So the Lifelong Vitality Pack that you're on, that's that trio of supplements, is really meant to kind of give you a foundation of wellness. It's meant to help you with your vitamins and minerals and your micronutrients from whole food sources. Because, you know, that's the one thing that people don't realize about supplements is that you really have to research them. If they're not coming from whole foods, your body doesn't know what to do with that, so it's just going to expel it. It's a lot of supplements are synthetic, and if they weren't going through your digestive system, it wouldn't be a problem really. But because your body now has to digest these supplements, it only knows how to digest food, right? So it's a tough balance there. So you really want to get your nutrients and your vitamins and things from whole food sources. Ideally, of course, real food, you know, that you're eating is ideal. But if you're not, you know, being able to supplement or you're not getting enough, supplements are oftentimes necessary. You're also doing your filtered fish sources and your fish oils, getting your 3-6-9 fatty acids for your brain and your heart health. You know, and there's also in that supplement, there are 9 daily essential oils. So you're getting frankincense in there. Frankincense is amazing for cell health. It's amazing for helping support the body with fighting inflammation and different things. And clove, which is a super powerful antioxidant. So you're getting that, you know, you're getting those things every day. And wild orange is in there also. Wild orange. Citrus oils are really amazing to help uplift the mood. So those are really great that you're doing, you know, you're getting that every day. The other one helps with natural energy to help with your mitochondria. So the mitochondria are kind of like your steam engines in your cell, and coupled with like a bad, you know, a worse diet or age, those things, those mitochondria get less and less. So those help, there's a complex in there to help build that. So you're getting natural energy, so you're not so reliant on stimulants or sugar or caffeine or anything like that. So it's really great. And there's also, you know, the heavy hitters of inflammation like turmeric and things in there as well. So it's kind of helping giving you a foundation to work from. And, you know, the deep blue that you're taking, the deep blue polyphenol complex, that one is really great to kind of amp up the inflammation. It gives you more ginger, more curcumin, resveratrol, other polyphenols and things like that. So it's really, really great to help amp up, you know, what you're doing on the inside to help fight the inflammation.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah, I have to tell you, I love it. And I enjoy the oils as well. I had never experienced frankincense. I'd heard about it. I think didn't the 3 wise men take it to the right or frankincense. I'd never heard of it. But afterwards I was like, oh man, I see why this is I see why this is a good deal, right? I see why this is written down everywhere. So it made perfect sense to me. Okay, Misty, we're going to have to run to a quick break at the bottom of the hour. If you'll hold on, if that's okay, we'll go ahead and open the phone lines when you come back. And I want to talk a little more about some of the other things that you do. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, but what people can do when they come to your website, how they're going to be able to learn about reconnecting with their all-natural being, to reviving their wild at the core, and how it is that you think that that's what it takes. That's what it's going to take to move forward into the future. So can you hang for a little bit? Let me get through this break, and we'll be right back.
For as long as you need.
Sounds good, my friend. Thank you very much. All right, we'll be right back.
#1 rated all-natural being with Brian Brawdy here on IPMNation.com. It's where your grit gets going.
Top of the day from the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the #1 rated all-natural being here on IPMNation.com. Thank you so very much for stopping over and hanging out with us.
All right, we are back, and I realized we're 7 hours and 30 minutes, thereabouts, 7 hours and 31 minutes into our little 24-hour marathon, and at some point, I think maybe it's a little later this evening, it's just going to be about protecting my voice, or at least that's my sense of it. All right, we're going to bring Misty back on the line. Misty, are you still with us?
I am here.
Yeah, I was just saying that a part of it is just protecting my voice as we go on through this 24-hour thing. So I'm kind of excited to see how long I can actually push it. Do you know what I mean? Before I just have to start. So I take these little breaks at the bottom of the hour, and I'm like a little bit of hydrogen water and doing a little bit of this, taking a sit for a minute. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm up to when we do that bottom of the hour. So, okay, I want to go ahead and open the phone lines, 833-462-3968, 833-GO-BU. Dana says natural energy without a crash and burn. I would agree. John, hello. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being this afternoon. So, Misty, what else can we focus on now when it comes to, you were talking about some of the vision boards, you were talking about some of the other things that you do. What do you see as the top 3 things, if I could be so bold? What are the top 3 things we should be focusing on as we prepare to meet whatever's going to unfold in our future? What are some of the things that we should be aware of that maybe we're not so much paying attention to of late?
Do you mean kind of in your health, or you just mean in your whole life?
I think in the whole life, right? The health of your whole life. For me, at least in my mind, I see it as the same way. So what are the things, so let's go with your health then. What are the things that you think we should be focused on when it comes to your health?
So for sure, we've already talked extensively about food. That's a huge thing. That's the foundation of everything. And, on top of that, I would say, making sure you're moving your body in a way that feels good to you. Really listening to your body, not necessarily meaning you have to go do, crazy amounts of exercise or different things. But if you incorporate something, even dancing, like people think about, working out as they have to go to the gym and they have to lift weights and they have to go do all these classes and different things that they don't even like. Like, find something that you actually enjoy doing. Even if it's dancing around your kitchen, having like a dance party, you know what I'm saying? It's just something that feels good to you, where you're just moving your body.
Sure, I love it.
And it's actually helping move energy too. It's a great way when you're kind of feeling down, or you're feeling like you're in a funk, or you just kind of need to, you just need something. Dancing or moving your body somehow can kind of help shake that energy around and sort of get it to move. So moving is a huge thing. And then, rest and stress management is another big piece of it that people overlook, especially as it pertains to your immune system. You need to get not only just enough rest, but enough, great quality of rest to be able to function properly and to help your body heal itself during the night. That's when it's doing all that stuff. And, turning your mind off is a huge piece. And one of the things I really love talking to people about is being able to have like a morning and an evening routine. So it's kind of almost like a morning, you could call them rituals, you could call them routines, you could call whatever you want to call it. But it's sort of like that bookend where you're starting your day off the same way every day. So it's kind of like a routine in that way, but it's authentic to you. There's so many different people, including myself, that have different morning routines, and they look very different. Some people work out first thing in the morning. Some people sit in front of their vision board. Some people who are religious, they'll read scripture. Some people will do morning pages where they're just free writing. For me, I wake up and I make sure to have 3 glasses of water before I even get out of bed. And then I go and I sit on my deck for an hour out in nature because it just helps to ground me.
Great.
Before my day starts.
Well, I'll share with you a little bit of mine. I get up, and most notably now, I can't stay horizontal very long, right? Because apparently what they're finding out now is that my brain shunt really needs gravity to help it work. So if I'm horizontal, if I'm lying down for more than 6-7 hours, the headaches, let's put it this way. Well, I haven't had to set an alarm clock in quite some time. The headaches do a good job of waking me up when I've been horizontal too long. But then I'll get up, I'll get moving a little bit, and then I do my BioPro Plus religiously every morning. I, like you, have my 3 glasses of water. I use the, as you know, Misty, I use the H2 Go so that I can get the hydrogen water into my system. And then I have a hydrogen inhalation unit where you sit on your back porch for an hour. I sit down, and it has this little, and you probably know what the name is. What are the names of these things that you put in so that you can do the breathing? You have air coming through.
Diffuser?
What is it? No, it's a canoles or something. I don't know. In any event, the hydrogen comes right out of these pieces right into my nose. So I'll sit there with the hydrogen unit, and for 30 minutes, I'm able to do my own form of, whether you call it meditation or breathing or watching my heart rate or the like. I've got my BioPro Plus in me. I've got my good hydrogenated water in me. And then I'll use the hydrogen inhale, right, to just kind of get my mind right where I need to be to start the day. And I do the same things in the evening. So I do the same thing that allows me to jumpstart my day and also allows me to put my mind to sleep at the end of the day. So kind of a ritual like yours, I would imagine. A ritual is a ritual, I would think, as long as you're doing something that's healthy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the biggest thing that people, I feel like we get so rigid, we get so linear, and it has to be this way, it has to be that way. This works for this person, that works for that person. You know, my biggest revelation in the last few months is literally just tune it all out. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You know, get off social media.
Right.
Turn the TV off.
Right.
Just cut yourself, like, use a cookie cutter and just cut off all these external voices that you have and just do what is in alignment for you. Like, what does your intuition say? One of the biggest things that I love teaching people, and I know we're kind of all over the place on this, but it's just one of my favorite things, and it's helped me out so much, is the light and heavy test. Do you know this light and heavy test?
I don't. What is it?
Okay, so it's you're playing with energy just a little bit. So there's a lot of different names for it. A lot of people do it differently. This isn't something I created. It's just something that someone taught me. It works really well. So if you close your eyes and you open up your hands and you imagine in your left hand you are holding a rock.
Okay.
So you kind of feel the heaviness. You kind of feel how it is weighing your body down. Do you feel that?
I do.
Okay, so now just imagine you put the rock down, and then in your right hand, imagine there's nothing. It's just completely weightless. It's just air. It's spaciousness. Do you feel how the air, the spaciousness feels a lot better in your body than the heaviness?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is actually, So that's actually a good way to use your intuition, use your energy to sort of make decisions a little bit. Like, you can kind of, you know, your body can tell you what is true for you by whether it feels light or heavy. So if you're making a decision, you're trying to figure out, okay, do I want to do things this way? You can kind of come back inside your body and say, okay, is this something that's in alignment for me? If it feels heavy in your body, that's your intuition saying that's either not for you, you're not the person for it. It's that gut instinct, right?
Okay.
Whereas if it's light, if it makes you feel weightless and airy and excited, then it's making you feel excited, and it's probably a great decision for you.
Probably a good thing to focus on then.
Yes, totally. And it's one of those things that I really wish I would have known, like, when I was younger. And one of my kind of ideas was working with a lot of women and helping college-aged and high school-aged girls, because they don't, you know, we live in a society where, especially now, where we're so focused on social media, we're so focused on all this outward opinions and distractions, and it distracts us away from our own inner guidance, our own inner intuition, especially as women. And it's just such an amazing tool to be able to learn something so simple, things that, you know, our older generations probably don't necessarily know to be able to teach us. You know, does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I would imagine it's not unlike, John says a cannula is the name of those nose thingies. Laugh my ass off. Thank you very much, John. That's exactly, cannula, which just makes me hungry because I think he's saying cannoli. Right, but it's a cannula is what it's called. I told you the story about the cannoli.
Cannoli is so amazing.
Yeah, I told you the story about the cannoli, right? That's how I knew something was up. I went on a long run, a 15-mile run in the mountains of in a national park outside of Cleveland, and when I got back, I thought, I'll treat myself. I had a pretty good run. That I felt pretty good, and I went to taste the cannoli, and I couldn't taste it. I couldn't taste the cannoli, so that was the beginning.
Sad day.
It was a very sad day for me, but that was the beginning of me going to the doctor, and the doctor goes, "Well, that doesn't seem right. Why don't we go ahead and pull off some tests?" And that's how they eventually found it. So, John, thank you very much for that. Yes, it's cannula, I guess is pronounced. Mike, I want to say hello. Thank you for watching. Kelly, thank you for watching. We're looking forward to having you with us here a little later this evening. Kelly, thank you very much. Dana, as always, thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. All right, so we're talking about, when you talk about the heaviness or the lightness, and you talk about using your intuition to get to that point, I imagine it's not unlike progressive adaptation of any other muscle in your body, right? So you get to the point where, as you start practicing it more and more, you get better and better at it, I would think.
Yeah, it's, what it is really is learning to listen to yourself rather
Okay.
than listening to everybody else.
Okay.
Because we've gotten so good at listening to everybody else about what we should be and how we should look and, the judgments that kind of come in from all over the place. And then that leads to a lot of shame when we don't kind of feel like we stack up to that. But
Okay.
in the end, it doesn't matter. It's
Right.
all about you and what's in alignment for you. So even with your health, and there's so many different options, so many different people, so many different ways, you have to kind of follow what feels good for you, what you feel comfortable with, what makes you kind of excited to look more into, and follow that. And, that's, especially for me, I use that a lot when I do my vision board workshops.
Okay.
Because creating a vision board is literally all about your own journey,
Sure.
really digging into who it is that you want to be. Not necessarily just what you want to do or what you want to have, but who do you want to be? Like, who do you want to become? When you leave this world, what do you want people to say about you? How do you want to walk through the world? How do you want to live? And it's far beyond money and having things. And while that's all great and fine,
Sure.
the being comes first. And it was really amazing for me because I actually got to do a vision board workshop for a local cancer hospital. So
Oh, wow.
it really fueled it was really, really amazing to be able to work with older women who were cancer survivors.
Okay.
It was a smaller little group that we had, but it was really, really amazing because, for me, working with a lot of women, like I kind of mentioned it before, but it's just so interesting to see how we as women we're so nurturing that we think about everybody else but ourselves.
Sure.
And then we get to this place in our lives where, we have, we might have a husband that's passed or we have kids or whatever, and we don't know who we are. And so we kind of feel very lost. So being able to be the catalyst to help people, not just women, but people find who they actually are, what they actually want, and be able to take action steps towards that is huge. Because that's the big thing about a vision board is it's not about just pasting a picture on a wall and just waiting for it to show up. Although sometimes that does happen when you intend to do something or you manifest it. But oftentimes there's a lot of little baby action steps that need to come first. And so I've been blessed enough to be able to talk to a lot of different people in different cancer hospitals, and I'm hoping to do that a lot more. That was
Good for you.
That was really cool.
Good for you. And when you talk about those little things that all fall together, that's when I talk about, when I call it magnify the moment, is paying attention to what's going on right now. Instead of always waiting on something to manifest, instead of always hoping, right? What does Sandberg say? Hope is an echo. It bids you yonder, yonder, yonder. It's right now in this particular moment. What is the universe? The divine, however you define it, right? Big Bang, Big Breath, Garden of Eden, Savannas of Africa, however you come to understand that. What is the divine in this particular moment in all of time? What is it setting you up for right now in this moment? No carrot on the end of the stick, no goals, right? Just right now in this moment. Look around. And in law enforcement or in martial arts, it's called, you weaponize your surroundings. But if you don't want to be militaristic about it, you could say weaponize or utilizing your surroundings. And then in that moment, what do you have? Because that's what makes it the labyrinth of life. I say all the time, the garden of the mortals, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, right? In this particular labyrinth, in this moment of time, everything you've ever needed, you've always had. You just sometimes, as you said earlier, you got to get out of your own way. You have it. So maybe it's more a function of unlocking it than it is always trying to find it. Jakara Lynn says, loving it. Jakara, thank you very much. Appreciate you swinging by, and thank you for leaving the compliment or the comment as well. So, Misty, let's talk about that. Right, because it's easy for us to be pulled out of the moment. It's easy. Someone said to me the other day, "Oh, well, how did you work on achieving your higher consciousness?" And I chuckled, like I think I almost spit when they said that. I go, "Oh, I don't want this higher consciousness." That's why I call it mortal up. I'm perfectly content with the mortal consciousness once we lose all the binge thinking. Once we lose all the baggage. People say, all that time you spent in China, or the time you spent in the deserts, or the time at Yellowstone at 40 below zero, or the time at, Death Valley at 130 degrees. How did you achieve enlightenment? Same way you did. We're all enlightened. It's just that we become so distracted. We all have optimal immune systems. It's just that they're overwhelmed and distracted, and they're busy putting out so many other fires that I think at times we negate how special we are in this moment, right? I think we forget, when I talked earlier, and this is my story about the amnesia. It's one thing to have to wear a bracelet because they want my name and my address and phone number and this and that. But how about the philosophical amnesia, where people forget who they ultimately are, and that forgetfulness creates a vacuum, and we suck in all the bling, all the baubles, all the trinkets, right? All the binge thinking to give us that sense of being fulfilled. But have you found on your journey that it has a good bit more to do with magnifying the moment than constantly waiting for something else to manifest?
I think it's, honestly, I think it's all of the above. I think, going back to what we were talking before about really cutting out the outside noise, really cutting off social media, not really caring what's going on social media. Which, so I live under kind of a rock. I don't have a TV. I don't have cable.
Good for you.
I am rarely on social media, and my life is amazing.
Good.
Let me just tell you.
Yeah, I don't have cable either. If you've been watching The Signal all day long, apparently I don't have cable either. It just cuts out at will while we're trying to do this. So I'm with you. I don't have, apparently, although I pay for it, I don't have cable either. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're not. No, it's totally fine. But I think that's a big thing is cutting out the outside noise, and then you can really evaluate what's actually contributing to your life and what's draining it.
Sure.
And it makes it a lot more clear. And I think what you're allowing to come into your space is so important, but it's also looking at who you are as a person and, like, what's showing up for you. Like, for me, I needed a lot of work in my own self-love and self-worth.
Okay.
So, instead of, we tend to look outside ourselves for all these things that we're lacking, and we attach ourselves to different people that we think are going to give that to us, and we end up disappointed when it's a call to look inside ourselves and be able to cultivate that within ourselves. So, being able to really look at, what are you reading? What are you listening to? I listen to podcasts. I read self-development books. Things that call to me that are actually feeding me, that are contributing to me, whatever I'm working on at the time, is definitely huge. But like you said, staying in the moment, staying present is huge, because realistically, just like I talk about in my vision board workshops with the cancer patients, you don't need cancer. You don't need a brain tumor. You don't need a disease to have these warning signals or a massive heart attack that you're going to die.
Right.
You have moment to moment. You can walk outside, be completely healthy, and get run over by a truck.
Well, we talked about it earlier. There'll be people tomorrow morning that will be killed on our nation's highways, right, running around, and they always thought they had more time. You knew me before, I never thought I had a brain tumor coming. I just never did. I didn't see it. It wasn't in the cards for me. I didn't know. Dana says she listens to audiobooks about intentions and motivational speakers habitually. I think is what she's talking about. So it's just, I think a lot of people put their eggs in tomorrow's basket, and then for whatever reason, that tomorrow just doesn't come, or at least it doesn't show up the way we thought it would. So we're kind of stymied. We don't bring our all-natural being. We don't bring our attention to the moment because we're derailed because it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. And for me, maybe it will, maybe it won't, don't know, but I'm going to square my shoulders with whatever the moment provides. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And it's a great way to live. I mean, how amazing is it that you're not worried about what happened before, and you're not worried about what happened and what's going to happen in the future, but you're living moment to moment. You're really being present. And I think that's where that morning routine really comes in, is it helps ground you for the day. And it helps you stay present. It helps you stay in the moment. It helps you feel that inner state of bliss. And it helps you make great decisions on, is this, whatever it is for that day.
Sure.
Is this contributing to my life, or is it actually draining me? And if it's draining you,
sure,
what do you want instead? I work with a really amazing energy healer. Her name's Tara. She's incredible. And she teaches me all these different questions to ask, to play with energy. Like, if you don't want, this is draining you, what do you want it to look like instead? What do you choose?
Sure. Right. Well, that ultimately, because we're responsible for what our mind focuses on. And that's why I call it binge thinking. I've also been known to call it irritable brain syndrome, right? Where you're just focused on all kinds of things that are only going to bring you bloating and discomfort in your own brain, in your own mind. You're responsible for it. I had somewhere here, I have a can of spray paint somewhere. I had it earlier. It was a prop I was going to use. I don't know where it is now. But, my theory is you wouldn't let someone in the front door of your house with a can of spray paint to run around and spray paint your furniture, spray paint your dogs, spray paint all your stuff. Where is it? I know I got a can of it here somewhere, right? You wouldn't let someone do that, but yet you and I will let people into our own minds to hijack our thoughts, right? To kind of inculcate what they want for us to think. Yeah, see, here's the amnesia. I had the damn spray paint can. Well, you know what I mean. So we wouldn't let someone do that, yet it doesn't seem to bother us that we'll let someone else's opinion of us get in, ricochet around, and ruin our day.
Yeah, and it really pulls you out of your own intuition. It kind of pulls you out of that light and heaviness. It pulls you out of that, is this contributing to the life I actually want? Because, again, you get to choose that. Just like with your health, when certain things pop up, you get to choose what you do about that.
Sure.
You get to choose whether you use something natural or whether you run off to your doctor every time you sneeze. So you get to choose.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right, my friend, as much as I hate to end this, I want to do something quickly. I'm calling it the True Fruit Thank You. A good friend of mine owns True Fruit, and it's 100% real fruit, freeze-dried and then dipped in really great antioxidant-packed dark chocolate. So what I want to do, Misty, is have you go to True Fruit, and if you can figure out your favorite flavor, I'll pull the camera back here so you can see. I ate the cherries already, but there's bananas. The raspberries are really good, too, but I wanted to have something to hold up for the camera. But if you could pick your favorite, what it is, the way that I can send you a treat and a thank you, a True Fruit thank you for not only for everything since the surgeries, but also for your expertise and hanging out with us for the hour, I would love to do that. So I'm going to throw your logo up now. Final thoughts as we get ready to go to the top of the hour.
I really would love for everybody to understand, what a great inspiration you are, honestly, and how amazing you are at really bringing a community together of like-minded people who just kind of want to share information to help people be their best selves. So the world needs more of that. It's not about, competing or different things, or this person's opinion is better than the other. Like, everybody has value. Everybody has different gifts to share. And I appreciate you so much for bringing everybody together to be able to do that.
Thank you, my friend, very much. You have an absolutely fantastic evening. I'll put your placard up on the site. Also, if you would, do me a favor. Once you hop off in the feed here on the Facebook feed, unless you're watching us via YouTube, in the feed, would you put your web address? I have your logo up, but I don't think it has the web address. Put up the web address where everyone can get a hold of you if they want to. I would super appreciate that. And then, as I say, let me know. Dana Lee, thank you very much. As I believe you are amazing, just like Misty, I believe you are amazing as well. Thank you so very much, my good friend, for hanging out. Don't forget to pick your favorite True Fruit. And, maybe if it looks out, I'll get to deliver it in person. But thank you so much for the evening. Have an absolutely fantastic remainder of your weekend.
I absolutely will. You do the same, Brian. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks so much, Misty. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. So that was Misty. Please, she's going to put a feed up here, or her web address up here in the feed. If you have any other questions, she's just a wealth of knowledge and just a really great human being. I love hanging out with her for certain. All right. We're going to go ahead, run to the top of the hour. I get a 4-minute, thing. I'm going to go wash my hands, that kind of thing. But we'll be back in kicking off this is coming up on 8 hours now. So we'll be kicking off another episode. Misty is amazing also. I would absolutely agree with that. We're going to be kicking off another hour here in just a bit. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us here at All Natural Being.
Hey there, this is Lee Rowley from Sales Copy Academy, and you're listening to the live 24-hour All Natural Being Marathon with my good friend, Brian Brawdy. Keep your mitts off that browser tab, because Brian will be right back after this short break with another solid hour of all natural shenanigans on All Natural Being. Stay tuned.
IPMNation.com.